Hello everyone, I'm Anthony, the Eclectic Chef. Welcome back to my US kitchen. It's good to be back. Now, today we're going to make a chili con carne, ground beef and beans. It looks pretty standard because it is. What isn't standard is there is absolutely no salt added to this dish at all. So for those of you concerned about your blood pressure, want to get salt out of your diet, why don't you give this a try? I've also tried to keep the cost as low as possible. I know a lot of us are struggling. I'm getting ground beef price shock just like the rest of you. So I've really tried to keep the cost down, which means it isn't fancy. None of the little additions that I often slip into dishes. So I'll tell you that right up front, but it'll be inexpensive and it will taste pretty darn good. I don't think you'll miss the salt. There isn't even any salt in the brown rice that I cooked for this. Now, right after this, you'll see a little intro of history of me and chili con carne. Which you may find a little amusing. It doesn't last for long, and I think it adds a little context because I've eaten a lot of chili in my day. So with that, welcome back and let's all have a great day in our kitchens. Well, I said I'd give you a little bit of history of us with chili con carne. This is probably one of the first cookbooks that the Sous Chef and I got after we were married. This edition is the revised edition from 1977. It's the St. Michael. For people who don't know, that's Marks and Spencer's trademark all-colour cookery book, which has some quite adventurous recipes for 1977 in the UK. And here's the actual recipe on page 148, chili con carne. I'll tell you, we felt very sophisticated back then in the late 70s when we were making this. Maybe not so much now, but so when I say we've eaten a few chilies in our day, trust me, we have. You just heard me talk about having to source no salt chili powder on Amazon. This is Bardia chili powder, which would be what we would use at home if we are not fussed over sodium. Now, I've no axe to grind for Bardia. They're incredibly good value, herbs, spices, seasonings. But I just want to show you how much salt there is in chili powder. Now let's see, hope you can see this. It's 40 milligrams per quarter teaspoon. That may not sound like a lot. I'm not doing a good job of this, so I'll just hold that there for one more second. 40 milligrams of sodium per quarter teaspoon. So that's 160 in 1 teaspoon, and there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon. So that would be 3 sixes, that's 420. And we're having 2 tablespoons. So that's 840 milligrams of sodium. That's a good old jolt. Now, that's not per serving of our chili, but you can understand now. If I tell you that a tablespoon of red boat fish sauce has 1450-ish, más o menos, milligrams of sodium in a tablespoon, sodium can start to add up. So we've just put the complete block on today and off we go. Okay, everyone, so I want you to see how much our chili cost per portion, and the answer is $1.66. I bought everything you see here, the onion down to the tomatoes, from Walmart on the week of March 2nd, 2025. The garlic, ginger, chili powder, brown rice came from my store cupboard, but I do know how much I paid for them. And the ground beef I bought from a supermarket in Chandler, Arizona called Lely International Foods, 70% lean. I put a pound of that ground beef in this recipe, and I've put the label up here in case you don't believe me, and it was $2.59 a pound. That is their everyday price, by the way. It's not a special. So I hope you'd agree. I've included all the costs, right down to the cost of the green onion garnish, and at $1.67 a portion, and we got 5 portions. I'd say this is a pretty good value, budget, no salt added, high fibre meal. So here basically are the entireties of our ingredients for our no salt added chili. Nearly everything here came from Walmart because they're cheaper, with the exception of the garlic and ginger, the no salt chili powder, and the ground beef. The ground beef came from Lely International Supermarkets in Chandler. It's 70% lean, and I paid $2.58 a pound for it. That's a pound right there. Additionally, we have no salt added black beans, no salt added tomatoes, no salt added red beans. I figured 2 tins of beans in here, why not? A large yellow onion, 3 jalapeno peppers. Old time recipes used to call for red or green bell peppers. I like jalapeno peppers, they add a bit of taste. 4 cloves of garlic, which we're going to crush. About ½ an inch of ginger, which I'm going to grate on a microplane grater. By the way, ginger's something I'm probably the only person who adds to a chili, but I like it. You can use garlic powder, ginger powder, garlic ginger paste, whatever. I'm just using fresh today. The no salt added chili powder, to which I've added a good generous teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. And that's about going to be it. Quick note on the no salt chili powder. If it's expensive for you to buy that from Amazon, just buy a dried chili, soak it in water and mash it up, and just throw that in with some oregano. You put in garlic in anyway, and you'll be off to the races. So with that, here's our no salt, low cost chili con carne. First things first, let's dice the onion and the jalapenos. So here we have the chopped onions and jalapenos in a nice heavy Dutch oven. On my stovetop, we've got a little bit of neutral peanut oil in here to soften them. We're not going to put too much oil in because the meat's going to give up a lot of fat during the cooking, which will make this very juicy and rich chili, but we don't need to add a lot of oil. When we've got these a little bit soft, we'll be adding the garlic, ginger, chili powder, ground black pepper. Mix that in, get that infused into the oil, and then we'll add the beef. In that goes. Stir it all around to toast it up a bit and to infuse the oil, because that's really how we get the flavour of spices round and things, is we infuse the fats in the dish with it. That's how they get around. Now let's add the beef into that and see if we can cook it down a bit. We'll make sure this is well broken down. Mash this up into little pieces. We'll come back and bother it in a minute or so, eh? Okay, meat's got nice and grainy, so let's add the tomatoes and the beans. By the way, as a side, 2 of those cans had wrinkles and 1 didn't. Go figure. Thanks, Walmart. Let's get the beans and the tomatoes all mixed in. We'll get the temp up, then we'll turn this down to simmer. Now, this is probably as good a time to address a couple of things. And one, I can hear a lot of you going, what, no Instant Pot? Well, I'm trying to make this as basic as possible. And I know some of you don't own a pressure cooker or an Instant Pot, so we're doing this stovetop, and everybody can do this stovetop. Tinned beans versus dried beans that you prepare yourself. Again, the dried beans is typically how I do it, but not everybody has the time or the wherewithal to soak and simmer up some beans, so I use tinned. They weren't exactly that expensive, and this is looking pretty good right about now. We may have to add some water a little later on, but we'll see. We'll see. I may actually put the lid on this. I was going to put a splatter guard on and let it evap out, but I don't think I will. I think that consistency's just about right. So on goes the lid, and we'll see you in half an hour. An hour and a half later, here we are. Looks absolutely divine. Smells pretty good too, actually, for a very, very basic chili with not much extra added. Let's just give it a quick stir so you can see. I took the lid off, put the splatter guard on about an hour ago. The fat that's come out of the meat hasn't really separated, so I'm quite happy with that. We're going to serve this over brown rice. Why not? Extra fibre. I actually like brown rice. We've got lots of beans in here. That fibre will be good for us. So we'll show you plated up. I'm going to garnish with a chopped scallion or spring onion, because we can't use cheese. Too much salt. So we'll have some little natural garnishes and give this a try. I think it's going to taste great. I'll let you know when I've got it plated and eaten. So here we are, folks, served up with a couple of spoonfuls of my tomatillo relish and a chopped scallion. This is smelling really good. You know, it's a plain and simple chili, but there's no salt in this. I'm going to talk about that in a little while, but I'll tell you what I think of it afterward, but looks good right now. This chili was absolutely delicious. Bear in mind it's basic and really inexpensive. And if I didn't know it was no salt added, I wouldn't have said, hey, where's the salt? I didn't miss it. By the way, folks, I'm going to spare the added homily on why I think you should eat no salt added foods and meals. But I'm going to put some notes in the description so you can read if you choose, but I hope you do. Thanks for watching. Hope you had a great day.